The Flash returned this week from its hiatus with a brand new episode entitled Versus Zoom, a kind of odd title for what ended up being an ultimately pretty odd little episode. Starting things off, the show goes out of its way to explain the origins of Jay Garrick, or is it Hunter Zolomon, or is it both now? Yes, this episode did a fair amount of reimagining and rejiggering for the origins of Zoom, which is interesting because Zoom and Hunter Zolomon in the comics had a origin story very similar to that of Eddie Thawne. And now this TV show version of Zoom has been given an origin closer to the Cobalt Blue origin story from the comic books, but with being set up to be evil dark mirror to Barry. I ultimately feel kind of conflicted about this, but I will give credit where credit is due. They did come up with a good origin and good reason for why Jay Garrick wears the weird hat that he does. With the special tachyon device in place from the end of the last episode, Flash is now finally able to get up to the speed necessary to challenge Zoom once and for all and put an end to his reign of terror. The only problem is he has to find him, which is going to be difficult because they closed all the breaches to Earth 2. And even if the breaches weren't closed, everyone from Dr. Wells to Joe is telling Barry that it's a terrible idea to go back to Earth 2 and pick a fight, that he should just live and let live with the fact that it's not his Earth and not his problem. Oh, but Barry has a big old heart and he's an idealistic hero, isn't he? So he can't stand the idea of any injustice happening anywhere in the multiverse when he feels he can stop it. The good guys eventually hit upon the idea that their best bet for getting back into Earth 2 is to use Cisco's vibing powers to their full potential, which we know he still has potential to reach because over in Earth 2 his evil counterpart Reverb was the most powerful of Zoom's henchmen. Honestly, I gotta admit that was a nice little bit of seed planting that pays off here. I even appreciate Cisco being scared to tap into his full powers, worrying that power might corrupt him and turn him into Reverb. Why, being the nerd that he is, he even makes an allegory involving Star Wars, metachlorians, and Anakin Skywalker. Gee, Cisco strikes me as the sort of person who should hate metachlorians. The rest of the episode has plenty of side plots going for it, the biggest one involving Wally deciding that maybe now is the time to move in with his father and get closer to Joe than he ever did before. Wally has gotten a lot better on the show and has cooled down a bit, but he still just acts so weird and aloof sometimes. It's strange, like he's harboring some sort of secret or something. There's also some minor movement with Iris, who is attempting to continue her romantic relationship with her boss at the paper, even though she still might have feelings for Barry, and her and Catelyn talk it out. Oh man, is this a Bechdel test failing moment right here. Blatantly so. We got the fate of two worlds hanging in the balance right now, and what's the only thing Iris can think about? Boys. Heading on into the finale, the Flash decides to set a trap for Zoom within Star Labs using elaborate cardboard cutouts of Hunter Zolomon / Jay Garrick's parents. You know, at first I thought this was weird, then I remembered they had very similar lifelike cardboard cutouts during the Dr. Light-centric episode, so apparently that's just something they have at Star Labs. The action stuff is pretty cool, Barry for once actually managing to get the upper hand on Zoom, but all I could think about during the whole fight was, okay, is this the moment now where the villain's going to explain his plot? Is he going to tell me what's going on right now? Because I'm super confused. And he does explain himself in a weird, vague, roundabout sort of way about how he was dying on his Earth because of the Velocity 6, and the only way that he could save himself is by stealing speed from another speedster. We also find out that yes, indeed, everything he did do as Jay Garrick was a lie, including all the fights he supposedly had with Zoom, because they were the same person all along, and he only chose to be a hero and be the Flash of Earth 2 because it gave the people of that world hope that he would take away because he's just kind of a dick like that. You know, I might even be okay with this turn of events, and I might even get on board with it if it didn't feel like just such a massive retread of the Dr. Wells Reverse Flash stuff from season 1. I mean, think about it, all the basic beats are the same. Barry meets an older friend and mentor who turns out to actually be an evil speedster obsessed with him for one way or another. They even reused the whole being in two places at one time thing to trick the audience. Only instead of being a speed mirage, now it was a time double. Which honestly, that opens up about a million other questions that the show sadly doesn't have time to answer. Perhaps most interestingly enough, that when Catelyn tries to actually appeal to Hunter Zolomon by saying that, hey, you know, we had a thing between us, you know, maybe if any of that was real, you'll spare Barry. Only that wasn't the Hunter Zolman you had a relationship with though, Catelyn, that was the dead time double. Also, does that mean all the other times that we saw Jay Garrick suck or fail in this show, can we take that to mean that he was doing all those things on purpose now? I know a lot of fans on social media and the like were actually upset about this turn of events, as it seemed to drag the ever-loving legacy of Jay Garrick through the mud, so much to the point that Greg Berlanti, one of the minds behind the show, had to come out and say, no, don't worry, keep watching, we promise we have more cards yet to play. The episode ended on kind of a dud note too, wherein the heroes just sort of give the bad guy everything he wanted with very little fight at all. Versus Zoom ended up being a real muddled episode. It didn't bother me quite as much as the time travel shenanigans of Flashback, but it was darn near close to there. The stuff with Jay Garrick / Hunter Zolman was more confusing than it was interesting, and even then it holds the asterisk over its head of no, don't worry, we'll all make sense out of this later. Maybe they'll finally do something with the mysterious man in the mask in one of those cages. Maybe he's the real Jay Garrick from another Earth. Maybe he's Earth 2 Eddie. Maybe he's Earth 2 Wally, who's to say? I did enjoy the stuff with Cisco. It's nice to see they're growing his power and growing his importance to the Flash as a series. Joe as always is a pleasure, and he gets to play fun dad in this episode and also gets to play worried dad at the same time. In the end though, I'm gonna say not the strongest episode back. I would only give this one a 6 out of 10, and I'm really hoping they get their momentum back in the next episode. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching my newest video. I hope you enjoyed it, and while you're here, why not check out another video I have on offer, or maybe if you're feeling in a supportive mood, you want to like or subscribe. And if you want to support the creation of more videos just like this one, then please by all means check out the Kate Joel Patreon. A little bit goes a very long way, and I will see you all next time.